Hello there. Welcome everyone. My name is Liz Gridley. I would like to formally welcome you all to From Cosplay to Canvas! Before we begin, I'd like to formally acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. And I've forgotten how to do it properly. The Wurundjeri people of Melbourne, this is their land. Sovereignty is never ceded. We are very thankful that we are able to partake in our amazing games community on a land of storytellers. So thank you. Hi, I'm Liz Gridley. I am an oil painter by trade now. Yay! Still have side gigs as a artist, but I have been painting formally for 6 years full-time-ish. And then before that, I've been the art kid my whole life. I'm sure there's a fair few art kids in here. Welcome! Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. This was a little harebrained idea I had a few years ago, and last year we did for the first time, where I wanted to bring the life-drawing experience to PAX. My younger sister is actually an amazing cosplayer, and I've met so many amazing cosplayers, such as my amazing model today, Sapphire Enfield. And I just can't believe how invigorating it is to draw from life characters from games and from 2D media and from 3D animation and things like that to really realize them in real life form. So I invite everyone to draw along today. Please hashtag PAX together or at me on Instagram if you post anything. I would love to see your drawings. And yeah, we can jump straight into it. I haven't asked, Jack, can you do timing for me, please? Would you like 15-minute or 20-minute poses before break? Let's do a 20-minute and see how you go. And if at any time you're uncomfortable, just let us know. So that'll be good. So we'll be doing 20-minute poses with 5-minute breaks, more breaks if we need. And yeah, just find your spot and we'll get comfy from there. I think I forgot music this year. We don't have music of any kind, do we? If you could give us a little beat, something to keep us going, that'd be lovely. Thank you. Yay. Thank you. All right. Has anyone here done life drawing before? Lots of people, yeah. So I'm a big advocate for long poses. I don't like fast ones because they're too fast and we don't get enough time. But this 90 minutes will go by in about 25 minutes or less, feeling. So I highly recommend speed, depending on your style, of course. When I started painting and all that sort of thing, I used graphite and I used charcoal. And basically, my original drawings were awful, which is completely fine. And I've actually I've hidden them in the back end of my website. If you look under drawing and scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see some of my absolutely awful drawings. Just to tell everyone that, you know, doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, you all start in the same place. And I kind of love that. Yeah. So, just while I want to sort of get roughed in, I'm just going to find a general box shape of what I want to do. I think I'm going to aim from Zaf's head to about her waist. As much as the belty skirt is amazing, I'm working on a square, so that's sort of telling me I want to crop a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started in cosplay and what you did?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started cosplaying last year.
Oh, apologies, can I interrupt one sec? Can I welcome Kiki, our amazing Auslan interpreter? My apologies. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really appreciative. Thank you. Thank you, Zach.
I started cosplaying last year at the Game Expo. I have wanted to cosplay for many, many, many years, but it was always one of those anxiety things, not starting out, being like, I want to do it, but I don't know if I have the skills, or I don't know if I feel confident to do it. And thankfully, I've got a couple of really great friends who were already cosplaying, and they were like, just do something that you love. Do something for you, not for, I hope people like this, but I like this. And so I chose a character from my favorite game, which is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and I chose Melon. And so I also love historical fashion, things like that. And so I decided to try and make it if Melon was a real person, using real fabrics of the time period. So that way I could really deep dive into it, you know, really use my neurospicy audacity to just lean into that front. And it was so much fun. I've been cosplaying ever since. So yeah, it kind of leans into the other stuff I do in my life, which is I'm a performer, so I do cabaret singing, and I'm a burlesque artist. And I like to do a lot of like nerdy burlesque and conceptual things. So I do stuff like Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. I am working on a Malon act, and yeah, fun stuff like that. But I'll also do some more classic things, witchy style stuff. So it's a great kind of way to be creative how I want to for myself, and I think cosplay definitely leads to that. So yeah, it's fun, and you also get to like do characters that are like something that means a lot to you, and it's really fun to kind of explore what you can do, and you find out what sort of style of costumes or pieces that you feel comfortable making, and what you're just like, I might just buy that piece. But it's
Can
fun.
you always sew? Can you do things like that?
I can sew, yeah. My mum was adamant in teaching me when I was a kid to sew. I didn't have a body shape that fit a lot of like popular clothing when I was younger. So a lot of my clothes I had to adjust to fit myself. So I kind of worked my way around a sewing machine quite young. Doesn't mean my technique's great. I always say that my stuff is kind of Frankensteined a little bit. Like if you look at the inside, it's a butchery of stitches. But sometimes the outside is passable. So I try and do what I can, and things that I can't do, I try and learn, or I get advice from others that know. And sometimes I just, might buy certain items because I don't actually maybe enjoy crafting that piece as much. I know when it comes to tailoring and really technical style patterning, that's not my forte. It's not something I find easy to do. My best friend is very good at that sort of thing. So a lot of her cosplays are very tailored, very structured. The patterning lines up on every scene kind of thing. But you find what you like within that. So yeah, always been crafty, and this is just another really fun outlet for that crafty nature, really. Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it a lot.
I have a question. I just filtered out my head. So I'm going to cycle around a couple of
Hey,
I mentioned my sister was a big cosplayer, and I always enjoyed being the hack horse when we came to con.
Oh, yes.
And then this is definitely part of that, I like to do things too.
Yeah.
Because the wonderful thing about this community is there's so many offshoots from just playing games itself.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different things
Yeah,
in the
100%.
community. And it's all so fun.
Yeah, and it's a great way to bring together, I think it's a community of people. We spend a lot of time either online or with our close circles enjoying the things that make us happy. So having something like conventions to get together and kind of, geek out with other like-minded people, other fandoms, people that maybe aren't into the same stuff you're into, but that you can still respect each other's passions and what each other is drawn to in this world. So I've got a lot of love for conventions. They can be overwhelming, but they're still always really good fun. I got a soft spot for PAX. I think it was the first con I went to when I was in like, yeah. Oh yeah, I was a big Armageddon. Yeah, I did it in 1 year. I think I might have been in year 12, and I decided to make a crop jacket that looked like Margaret from Regular Show. I dyed chunks of my hair black on the side because I had fire engine red hair at the time to try and be like a hint towards Margaret, because I was like, it was the closest I got to cosplay.
That's like your closet cosplay, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just take what you got.
Yeah. Those are fun too, because it means you're not having to put yourself as far out there to be fully head to toe as a character. You can kind of do the essence of a character. So it's a great way to kind of show your love for a different piece of media without having to go all the way.
That's what I always try to. I've only done a few scanned cosplays, and they've definitely been sort of what can I do that doesn't involve sewing? What can I do that is easier to approach? And a big part of that was abusing face paint as most of the costume.
Yeah.
So Wild Style from the Lego Movie.
Oh,
Black hoodie, the fabric paint, all face paint.
I love that. You can do wonders with hot glue. I know someone who does. I know a few people that don't sew at all, and they hot glue all their fabric together, and it will look like it's made. Incredible.
I don't know if it would be comfortable, but it depends on where the hot glue is.
Yeah. They have a few times accidentally glued things to themselves. They said, look, it's not fun. They're like, that's part of the process, I guess. I mean, if you sew, you end up pricking your fingers how many times with the needle. There's always things that can go wrong. I've super glued my fingers together before. I think my mum crafting once accidentally glued her hand to her face. I had to help her with that one. That was not fun. Yeah. I think she went to touch it. She had glue and she didn't realize, sometimes when super glue just spills and it covers, and she hadn't realized because she had a couple bits dried on her hands already. And then she was looking at something and she kind of put her hand and then went, oh no. And I'm like, oh, you just look like you're stuck in this like inquisitive kind of mindset now. And she's like, I don't like this. But, it's the fun things of crafting. You get to discover so many different, things you like, things you don't like very quickly, I think, when you start making costumes. Yeah. Or like trying new stuff out too.
Yes, that's true. And painting's kind of similar in that way. Like I also, honey, I forgot the little poster for the art shop. Can I have that out of the big pad, one of the big blue pads? So, apologies, our materials today have been supplied by the artshop.com.au.
We do.
I work there. Hi. My boss was very nice to supply. Today I'm using copper water mixable oils. So these oil paints do not need solvent to clean up. They are a normal oil paint in that they are a pigment and an oil, and then they have an emulsifier mixed in, and the emulsifier breaks down the water. So it's a very approachable, less toxic way to paint, because most of the toxicity of oil paint comes from solvents. Solvents being, all your methylated spirits and wet spirits and all that sort of stuff. So these avoid it, which is wonderful. I am using one of their mediums, which is a quick dry medium, because having the wet painting at PAX. But yeah, no, I really like using these paints. They feel pretty much like normal paints. The only downside until now has been the lower quantity of colours available. But Cobra, made by Royal Talents, they've just released 30 new colours. So I haven't bought them yet, but I want to. The worst part about working in an art shop, but buy other things. So very, very thankful to my boss for that. We've got business cards for him and that as well. And it's an online shop, but it's based down in Bayswater. So if anyone's an Eastern Suburbs kid, that's what he is. And it's just a big warehouse of fun stuff.
It's nice to wander around there sometimes. I used to live in the southeast side, and I used to just go there and wander around and look at all the cool art stuff and go,
Did you know we moved? We're on Dorset Road now, only 5 minutes away, but it's a bigger shop and it's air conditioned.
Oh, I like that.
Air conditioned for summer. The old one was not.
Yeah.
So that's very, very lovely.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like walking around shops like that and just looking at all the cool things going, what do I not need but I really want?
The only thing we don't do is sculpting, because there's not enough room in the shop, even though it's the new shop.
That says a lot about what you got there.
Yeah.
Already filled it out.
The boss is pretty into that. He's just like, why not? Why not? To everything. And I'm like, there is eventually a why. But what I've ended up doing is I cropped South a little bit more. When I started blocking it in, I'm like, the head's going to be too small. I like a nice big head so I can add a bit more detail. The smaller your head, the less detail you can add. So I've ended up cropping to the bottom of the beautiful burgundy cowl. What do you call it? Cowl hood top situation.
Yeah. I actually think that's probably the best way to describe it.
I like how that sort of fills the square nicely. It brings a lot of focus up to their head. With paints in particular and oils, I'm very much they're not scary, but that's because I've been playing with them for a while. If anyone's not tried oil paint and thinks they're scary, big tip, start with 2 colours. Just start with black and white or a colour and white and play and get to know them and get to know the feel and all that before you jump into colour. Because I know me starting with a whole bunch of different colours and then not turning to grey immediately, it's like, oh, it's magic, it doesn't make sense. And you're like, no, actually, you just got to get a feel for it first before you introduce trying to play with colours. And colour is one of those things where it looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. But, give yourself credit. This is something that people like me and lots of people dedicate their lives to figuring out the paints. And I still haven't figured them out yet, but I'm really enjoying myself. So, and I can't imagine doing anything different.
How did you find that this was the medium you liked using?
I think I was that art kid who avoided oils for a long time because I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. And then when I did start using them, I'm like, God, these are so much easier than acrylics. Acrylics dry too fast and you can't move them. And once you put it down, you can't smush it around. And to be fair, I didn't know about acrylic mediums at the time. Acrylic mediums make acrylics a lot more fun to deal with. But yeah, I definitely. You okay? Oh, okay. So, thank you. Yeah. How are we doing on time?
You are currently at 7 minutes ago.
Oh, cool. 7 minutes is longer than I think. Yay. I love that. What was I talking about? strong double.
Mediums.
Mediums,
and
yeah.
acrylics.
So my first oil painting I did in year 12 because I asked my teacher if I could, and they went, "Yep, here's some oils, go for it," and no instruction whatsoever on how to use them.
I love that.
As you do, and I was the little brown nosy art kid, so I sort of got away with all the stuff. But at the same time, I was sitting there going, la 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 la. I'm going to use all this terps to water down my paint. I'm just going to keep adding terps until it's a really nice watery consistency, and put that on the canvas. And why is it all disappearing? Where did all my paint go? Solvent continues to break down the paint even when it's on the canvas. Did not know that. So all of my first paintings were very, very thin, and there wasn't much to them. And then slowly I ended up joining my local art society to learn more. And that's where I got into laugh drawing. So my local art society, Ringwood Art Society. If anyone doesn't know about art societies, they're like community groups where they often have teaching and untutored art classes. And they're a place where you can go to learn, to play, to hang out with people. Yes, a lot of the people are over 65, but that's fine. Everyone's really friendly and lovely and welcoming. And even though I was a 14-year-old hanging out with the 65-year-olds, I got to learn that painting people from life and drawing people from life was really my jam. And then slowly pick up things from other people. Why are you using that goopy stuff? What's that goopy stuff? Oh, it's oil medium. What does that do? And what does this do? And it wasn't until I got to uni that I got a little bit of instruction on how to actually paint. But even then, that's not really the priority of Monash University, sadly. I got a lot out of that course, just not a lot about how to paint. And then, yeah, after that, I've focused on doing workshops more. Workshops with artists who oil paint every day in styles that you like and appreciate. Realist artists. For me, it was a lot of people who do those sort of hyper-real detail paintings with a lot of colour. I was like, yes, this is where I want it from. So I've done a lot of little workshops like that. And the best one I ever did was Robin Ely, who's an South Australian-based artist who's just amazing. Yeah, really hyper-real stuff. And he does all these things at the moment that look like the painting's wrapped in cellophane, but it's all painted. So I did a workshop with him, and he connected all these wires in my brain where it was like I knew the gist of so many things, and then he gave me context as to why things worked the way they did.
Love that.
And I learned so much. And from there, I've been much more confident with the medium and doing what I do and just being pretty dedicated to oil painting. Until this year when I started doing sculpture. I'm going to ignore that I've done 2 clay sculptures this year and all I want to do right now is play sculpt, but side quest. That's a side quest. Oh, it's so fun. Inexpensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh,
Yeah, I've wanted to try and get more into props with the cosplays. I mean, I don't normally
well,
make.
you made this one,
I
didn't you?
did. Don't look at it too closely. Never really.
It looks great.
Thank you. Not normally a props person. I like doing like haberdashery, like the little detaily stuff. So I love, with Burlesque, I love doing a lot of beading, rhinestoning. That's my meditation. Rhinestoning, thousands of beads to an outfit. It's all the little extra detail, the painting or adding little flares, things like that to items that I like. So I've always wanted to try prop making. Never done it before. And then impromptu, start of this week? I think I sent a message or something like, making a staff.
I saw it in your story and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're like, that's great. I love it. And I was like, I hope I can pull it off. This one is a very makeshift style one, but it's fun kind of to give it a go and see how it turns out. And even if it isn't top quality or the best I could eventually maybe do, it's a starting point. And I'm kind of happy with how it went. So it's fun little things that you get to sort of discover when you try a new medium. It's very daunting though.
Will you give away your secrets? What goes into making this?
Oh, no secrets. I Googled. Actually, a lot of people said for a wooden looking staff, find a cool stick. And I was like,
That's great Googling, but thank you SEO. That's giving me so much insight into the medium.
Yeah, I was like, that's great, but I also need it to look how the game characters one looks, which has certain
how do I make
branch
a specific
bits.
stick? Can I make a specific stick, please?
And everyone's like, just find a cool stick. And I'm like, I have cool sticks at home. I've got random long sticks that I found wandering around that I've gone, I'm taking that home. I have them. They're not this shape. So I went to Bunnings and I found a wooden dowel, like a broom handle. And they had them on clearance too, which is always very nice. And I started with the top section, just forming the different like kind of notches, don't know, branch bits, normal bits, yeah, out of tin foil. And then I masking taped a little bit over them. And I think I got to about here when I then got a nice pair of trusty old scissors and I poked a hole pretty much into it to about that point and then stuck the dowel into it. And then I taped it to the dowel and then I just kind of kept building more tin foil, shaping it, pressing it down to have like a flatter top or a pointier top, that sort of thing, wrapping it again in masking tape. The staff is not meant to be perfectly straight. It's meant to have a bit of a bend. So I tried to use the dowel as the shallowest points to the center and I built onto the sides to try and give it a look of being a real stick. And then after I covered it in masking tape and lots of tin foil, adding kind of little bumps and stuff to look more woodish, I hot glued it with a lot of hot glue.
Like textural hot glue.
Just normal hot glue. Probably about 70 sticks of it.
Whoa.
Because I
Like skinny sticks or big sticks?
skinny sticks.
Skinny sticks, oh my gosh.
That's all I had. And my hot glue gun, I think, was going through it towards the end. It was not happy.
It's like when a hair straightener gets really sad and you're just like, come on, buddy.
Come on, you got this. I believe in
Just
you.
a little bit more temperature. I'll let you be alone for 2 minutes.
So I wanted to try and cover it as best as I could because I thought, look, it's not ever going to be waterproof, but if I can cover it as much as possible and give it some form of stability, the glue kind of holding together the masking tape and the tin foil, then that'll work. That'll be good enough. So I covered it, and then as I got to certain points, the rounder spots, when I was putting the glue on, I was kind of pressing the nozzle in and doing circles to try and give the patterning of wood and trying to scrape up and down and keep the additional kind of
That's 20 minutes.
root bits on the top.
Let's have a break, everyone. Can we jump up and have a little shimmy? Thank you, Zeph, for your first sip. Yay. Oh, best thing about life throwing is moving.
I do like sitting.
Well, yeah.
It worked well for me.
I'm glad that you like sitting. Kiki, do you need a break? I'm good. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, nice. I literally used to go there all the time.
When it was before, yeah, so they moved from 4 to 12, and then when I ran it again.
Yeah, and I would just wander around. I mean, I was never very great at doing it. My bank account's gonna hate me. Yeah, because I grew up around that area. So I used to go there just for fun. That bookstore.
I think I'm going to do stuff there, but keep on it.
The good thing is because it's rendered from like a game, it's pretty much like styled that way. You can turn it sideways, it's more boring. I wanted to give it more.
Yeah, because you were holding for when you were talking about it, and that just works really for my case. But I don't want to stuff up your comments.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So fun.
3 minutes left. Some type of limit.
How is everyone on live stream going? I might come and say hi. Am I too close to the camera? Say hi there. Hello, live stream family. We are live streaming on YouTube and Twitch, everyone. Everyone, do you want to say hi to YouTube and Twitch? Hi! Welcome. Sorry I didn't say hi to live stream before, but thank you everyone who could physically be here, the other stately, the internationally, and the not feeling so welly. We love you all. So thank you for being here. I am not the most frequent streamer, but I do love streaming, as does Sapphire Enfield. So if anyone's not following her on Twitch or myself on Twitch or YouTube, please subscribe. Let's do some more painting in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah,
You want some water?
I just had some. I was like, say hi to it.
You got some love for your Morgan cosplay.
Love Morgan. I actually lined up really well with the next Dragon Age
Yes.
coming out. I'm very excited. A little too
Have
excited.
you looked at the new outfit?
I have not, because I'm one of those people, if I know I like something, I don't look at any trailers or any like additional promo or anything. So that way when I experience it for the first time, it is fresh. Yeah. I'm like that. If there's a movie I know I'm gonna want to watch, I refuse to watch any trailer.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want any spoilers. I know I'm gonna like it. I already know I'm gonna see it. I want to have it be that amazing opportunity to watch it for the first time. Yeah, I was surprised they were doing another one actually. Very surprised.
No.
I know. Because I love Witcher 3 so much, but I did not play that during high school or anything like that when it was out because I was a Dragon Age kid. I was playing Origins for the fourth time. And even though a lot of people have issues with the second Dragon Age game, I quite like it. I think it's a nice, different take on the style of gameplay, of having it be a reflection of someone's life as like talking in the past, their story. Inquisition was also really fun, but I would always say Origins was my favorite. Too good.
Excuse me, I want to see what it looks like. Oh, it looks so much better from far away. That's awesome.
That's how I feel about it sometimes. I'm like, I look better from far away.
Yeah. I can just close your eyes a little bit. Yeah, great.
Just squint. It's like, having the one leg down kind of keeps me with nice posture, which isn't common for me. Definitely like a little shrimp when I sit at my desk. Yeah. Well, I've got
All right, we're back. All right, another 20-minute sit. Let's go. I did just mention, of course, we're both streamers as well. I started training during COVID times, as I'm sure a lot of people did. And it was the fun of, I've always been recording time lapses of my work, but also Spicy Grandkid, talking to people while I work or being in an active studio environment, I've always found really invigorating. It keeps me on task because if I am just on my own, sort of having TV on or having radio on and painting, I very quickly check my phone and get distracted by all that kind of stuff. So streaming's been fantastic for getting to know people and staying on task and getting questions. Now that we're past the first sit, if anyone has questions, you are more than welcome to just sort of go, hey, if there's a quiet moment and ask me a question. I obviously can't see, but Zaf, if you can see people, you can definitely go.
You should repeat the question when you answer it.
Yes, we will try and repeat the question when we answer it. And if there's any questions coming through on the stream, then
I will let you.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone say thank you, Inkmo, for being our amazing stream helper today.
Thank you, Inkmo.
Inkmo's also a streamer.
Should go and follow them as well.
Yes, good. We're going to just show you all the cool people.
Love salad.
This is the dress.
Love salad.
Love salad. So from here, I'm going to, I've sort of locked in where everything is going to go. And now it's all about strengthening all the darks. Because once all my darks are really good, I can go in over the top with lights. Because this is a alla prima painting all in one sitting, I just need to really pay attention to the pressure I'm using. If you use heavy pressure, obviously the paint's going to mix together. Any colours are going to dampen. Really light pressure, let's sit on top of each other and pretend they're not friends. And that's great sometimes too. So you get sort of both options. Yeah. Because we do have a lot of black and I pre-painted the canvas with some acrylic in black and grey, I'm definitely going to try and avoid true black until near the end. And then I'll sort of go from there. So yeah, this is one of those fun parts of the painting where I get to really figure out where do I want all my detail, where
gravitate towards, or ones that you gravitate away from?
The one thing I used to avoid was ears. I found ears so tricky and weird, and then I had an art teacher person go, just spend the same amount of time doing an ear as you would doing an eye. Because
really
we all
good.
get allured and seduced by eyes, and eyes are beautiful, and then we're like, oh, it's an ear, it's a spell. And yeah, and then we're dissatisfied that the ear doesn't look good. And it's like, well, actually, take the time, find the shapes, find the shadows. Ears are really fun little shapes. That being said, yours is mostly covered by hair, so mine is going to be a blob with a little C shape. So
I got little ears, so
That
like,
wasn't
they get
my
half of my
choice.
hair.
That's fine. But yeah, I think reminding myself to treat every part of the face with care rather than sort of picking favourites
That's fair.
is a good way to force yourself to do the work rather than sort of cherry pick bits and then get annoyed that it doesn't all work together.
Do you think that's a big way that a lot of people find their style
Yes.
in art is finding things that maybe they gravitate towards and like what they can work within that?
And maybe for me that's more I gravitate towards high saturation colour and I'm getting more into dynamic brush strokes. I used to be really, really fastidious, but I've been learning this year from a bunch of, they call them tonal realist painters
Oh, okay.
at the Victorian Artists
And
Society.
they've got kind of, I think there's one that do a lot of the crisscrossing,
It's
like
crisscrossing.
the layering of colours.
They focus on the idea of when you're looking at something in person, you only see some of it in focus. Everything around that is out of focus. And your painting should do the same. So in the same way that you'll have your highest contrast in your focal point, why have you got really harsh, sharp, perfectly lineated stuff over here when here is what we're focusing on? So tonal realism is a lot about trying to show things how they look to the human eye when you're looking at a thing. And then they do sort of have fun with paint as well. They're not scared of it looking like paint.
Yeah.
So I've been a resident at the Victorian Artists Society this year. If anyone doesn't know it, it's a big heritage building opposite St. Pat's Cathedral in Melbourne on Albert Street. They now have a residency for artists under 45, which will be opening for applications in December for next year. And they've supported me and 4 other artists this year with free lifelong classes, with mentorship from older artists who know what they're doing and teaching us all things, and really sort of let us use the studio space to create work, which has just been incredible. This has been the first year that they've done it from a philanthropic donation from the Hanson Little Foundation. And we have an end of year show that goes from the 19th of December till the end of January. So if you're around the city in January, just jump into the Art Society and have a squiz upstairs. My work will be on the wall. Yeah,
That's exciting.
which will be really cool. So while I'm talking spruiking art things, can I also spruik? I'm currently a finalist in the Leicester Art Prize, which is the second biggest art prize in Australia behind the Archibald for portrait painters. Not terrifying at all. It was super fun. I did go to Perth, thank you. And the People's Choice Award is currently open for votes. So if anyone sees the blue painting of my daughter come around, there's a QR code. If anyone would like to swing a vote, I'd really appreciate it because the prize money is really good. And that would just help me be an artist full time, honestly. I'm not really good at asking for votes and things, but I'm like, let's give it a go. Why not? We're at PAX at the same time. Why not? I went over to Perth for the opening and it was crazy. I thought, okay, cool, this will be like an art crowd, there'll be gallery people, there'll be artists, this will be great. It was like the Brownlow. There were all these people who were sponsors and things, and it was this big event. Everyone was dressed top to. I thought I dressed fancy. I did not. I was the low end of fancy. I was like, okay, next time you sat in fancy. Okay, looks. But no, it was absolutely fantastic, and I just felt so validated. I can do this. This is cool. So thank you.
That's really awesome. And a great experience, really.
Oh, huge experience. Like, I'm so glad I got to go. Granted, the grandparents and the daughter came with me, so thank you, grandparents. They're the best. And my husband supported me amazingly as well with the whole endeavour. So very, very thankful to have the support crew. Yeah. So I think that's everything on my list of what's happening. All the other things I've been spruiking is come to PAX, I'm painting at PAX. So no, I don't usually do much of that, but yeah, it's been really fun. Oh, that's the other PAX thing. I'm back tomorrow. Is anyone here tomorrow? Yeah. Woo! We're having an art battle in here. Come in and see me and 5 of my artists I forced to be friends have an art battle, including Nick. Hi. But no, we're going to have a real fun one. It's going to be kind of Jackbox game style, head-to-head, pick prompts out of a bucket, try and do some art as quickly as you can, completely sabotage each other, all the good stuff.
Amazing.
12:30. 12:30, it goes for an hour, so 1:30. In here.
Pretty much the Twitch stream vibe, just live.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Of course, I'm a fan of Drawfee and all those
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
channels and all that as well, so
It's
I'm
so much
like,
fun.
let's do this. Yeah, so very, very happy that the artists I asked were pretty much all on board and everyone had a little practice run and it was fun and cursed and wonderful. So I'm like, hell yeah, this is going to be fun. Myself and Ree of Illygree or the Fairy Tale Painter will be working traditionally in charcoal on paper. And then the other three artists will be working digitally on the big screen on Magma, which is an online program you can use to draw with your friends. So that's great. I need to stop focusing on this arm. I've pretty much finished the arm and I've forgotten all the rest. Let me just figure out the light. I hope everyone doesn't mind the nice dramatic lighting we give for today. I'm a big fan of dramatic lighting because it stops the character looking like an illustration or rather like an outline. So then you've got nice dramatic lighting. I've got these nice, if you don't mind, cuts through her cheek of shadow, cuts through the outfit, and it just gives everything that sort of 3D feel. So I highly encourage you in your drawings to find some shadows and even just doing thicker lines where a shadow is. It's a really good way to just get your form to come forward. I think you can probably see my jaw's gotten a bit big for my nose and my eyes. Yay, friends! Have friends! Don't sit down! Don't sit back! I will happily you. Yay!
Spot the hat a mile away.
You saw that one?
Oh, yeah.
That's why you wear stuff.
Yeah.
Jingling in the building. Yeah. So, train of thought. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Let's see.
Are we all having fun doing a draw?
Yeah. You're my
Least favorite medium. Least favorite. I am terrified of watercolor. In the way most people are terrified of oil, but that's because watercolor is the opposite of oil. They are different beasts. Watercolor, once you put it down, you can't move it or change it or get rid of it. And as you can see, I've painted over about 7 things I've done already. I like the undo button in real life. Oil paint is the undo button, which I'm very much a fan of. So I do occasionally dabble in the watercolor, especially when traveling, just because it's so convenient. You can have a nice little palette set and be able to travel with it really easy. But yeah, I make birthday cards for it when I forget to buy birthday cards.
I love that.
That's as far as I get. But yeah, I haven't dabbled more than that. I think printmaking is awesome. I think I would need to dedicate like 5 years of my life to get through it and figure it out properly. That's not to say I don't want to try later. I think that's one of the wonderful things about art is that it's not like being a gymnast where you've got a limited amount of time you can pursue it. I can see myself as a 70-year-old lady being all like, hey honey, I want to learn a new thing. I need more space. I'm sorry. And that's kind of awesome to have those sort of things to look forward to, you know, provided I can. And I think art is one of those things, there's always sort of a way you can, even if your health changes, if your lifestyle changes, you can make art with a pencil. Like, you don't need to have a big fancy setup or have a whole bunch of supplies. You can always do in some way. And I think that's my value. My value is, well, as long as I can do in some way.
Speak of really,
Be able to use my hands. Because when I use my hands, my brain can calm down a little bit.
Can you talk a bit about the palette you brought today? Like, how did you decide what colors you're going to bring along?
I talk a bit about the palette I brought today. I did a lot of Google image searches of Dragon. I will admit I have not played Dragon Age Origins. My apologies. I know. I've watched a lot of The Witcher and a lot of Baldur's Gate lately. But I'm a big backseat gamer. My husband's a wonderful gamer, and I like to watch because I like to watch fun things while I'm painting. And if it means me going, your health is dying. Or when someone else is cooking dinner, mining all the planets in Mass Effect, and I'm just going to go mining, okay? Oh, look, all the resources are yours. I had fun. That's great.
So what you're saying is, your husband has to play Dragon Age so you can watch.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Because that would be good. I don't think you play Dragon Age. No. Sorry. The sexy, dark-haired. You gave Miranda vibes when you first told me the character, and I'm like, I've definitely seen romancing characters that kind of have the same vibe, but not worried. Either way, yeah. So I am a Game Boy gamer myself. I'm a Switch gamer. I'm a Wii gamer. I'm a phone gamer. Anytime I can game without feeling art guilt that I should be painting. And that's probably the biggest problem is I would play the bigger games if it wasn't for the art guilt that
You trick yourself by thinking if you get to a certain point, you see like a really beautiful like character or a landscape or something like a feature you like, you'd be like, ooh, I can utilize that. Or like try and
Yeah, but I've got like 5 other deadlines I really should
Yeah,
be
that's
doing
true.
because they're due next month. That ADHD procrastination problem.
ADHD.
Yes. So,
Hey, well, this is me just trying to justify the fact that I play games when I should be doing other things.
but justify it for the brain. Yes,
Yes.
that's very true. And good for the hands. And that's what my hands have to be doing. So having this sort of thing. You can see I'm just sort of making a really dark blob with the hair. Great thing about alachroma painting is you can just sort of lay in a whole bunch of darks in all different colours and then go over with a slight highlight and it will drag all the dark colours through to create friends. So I'm just sort of creating all the shapes I want. It's a little bit scarier than I would normally do it because I'm being hard and heavy, but you know, we haven't got time, so we're just gonna.
And hair is black, so.
Well, I don't actually paint hair black. I'm using lots of blue and purple at the moment. Oh, the palette. You asked me about the palette. Sorry. Yeah, so I googled. I'll come back. I'll always come back.
Tangents, just tangents.
Yeah, no, so I googled a whole bunch of pictures and other cosplayers who have done the character, all the way from purple to bright red with that cowl. And I'm like, okay, so I want approximately this color family of tones. And then last year, I didn't pour out any paint until I got here, and that was a big mistake. So I'm like, I'm just going to do a whole palette of blobs. I've got my standard palette, which is about 11 colors that I really like and I really rely on in my normal paintings. And then I put out a whole lot of things that are like in between stages. So rather than sitting here and mixing a whole lot of, oh, I need a lighter than that color, I'll sit here and mix for 2 minutes, I'll mix this one. Today I've given myself the excuse to put it all out. It does mean that I have probably a bit more paint wastage than usual. Like I'm hoping over this afternoon and tomorrow and the next day I can just do a little bit of alachroma painting around the place in a corner and use up some more paint and paint a few more things. But yeah, the oil paint will stay wet for a while, but eventually I will probably not use all of these colours when I go home and work on the other paintings at home. Yeah, I definitely don't usually put out this much paint, but it helps with speed. It helps with speed and it helps to have all your tools out on the bench, not in the cupboards, basically. But yeah, if anyone's ever doing something in a hurry, it does not matter how much stuff you bring, just put it all out so you can find it.
Yeah, nothing worse than being in a rush and being like, I need to find this one thing, and it's like 15 drawers to look through.
And that happens to me. Oh,
yeah.
It's just like leaving the house.
Yeah.
Seeing my studio, I think I have in excess of 6 sets of drawers plus wardrobe, and I'm definitely one of those, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist, so that doesn't help.
Yep.
It's an absolute mess.
It's a functional mess.
Functional
Thank
mess.
you.
I'm not saying.
I'll say, hey, your fridge looks beautiful.
Don't worry, mine's the same.
Yeah.
I've got like a craft costume room, and I have it big wardrobe, but I have it set up that if I open the door, you can see everything. So any of my fabrics, there's nothing that's like a level behind. It's all like folded in like long strips upwards, so I can just go, where's the color I need?
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and lots of doom boxes.
Doom boxes.
But doom boxes with like a general vibe. I say that, but they're not. It's like boxes would be like, I need stuff. Here's this one that's got dark colors as much as possible, but then I'll find like a hot pink in there and I go, I'll fix it later, which is usually how it goes in the craft rooms. But yeah, I'm very much the same thing. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, so make your stuff visible.
We just straight up took the doors off.
Yeah, taking those
That
off
helps.
is great.
I've got a cat that likes to knock a lot of things over, so I unfortunately can't do that.
Clear doors.
Oh, we have a question.
Paper towel is your friend. Yeah, so anytime I don't like something, if I use the brush a lot to go back and forth over it, I'm mixing all those colours together. This is basically, I'm pulling it off the canvas. I did used to use fabric rags a lot, but then when I started painting on aluminium, which I paint on a lot at the moment, it shows every little bit of fluff off my denim rag on the painting. And when you varnish it, it's like speckled with dust, and you're just like, so I've switched to paper towel. I use Who Gives a Crap sustainable bamboo paper towel. because obviously you feel a little bit bad making all these scraps, but if you can do it as sustainably as possible, absolutely fine. And yeah, any area where I feel like there's too much going on, I need to simplify it. So this neck, I've sort of got the idea, but it's not quite what I want. Just go in and give it a wiggle, and that just all comes back to where you were. And then when you put down the next paint, it's not going to be mixing in to the same stuff, and that way you can have a nice clean colour again. For us. This is also why I started on a slightly painted canvas, because that means I'm not going to go back to bare white at any point. I've always got sort of something going on the surface, which makes it look like I've done more work than I have, which is good. So now that you've mentioned that, I'm like, what else can I smudge away? What else can I sort of move? You can also use the paper towel to sort of smush areas together. Like here, I know I've got enough paint there. I actually distribute it better. So that's helping a lot. Thank you, Sunshine. That was fantastic.
Sorry, you just did like a cookie.
No, you prompted me. Thank you. Another streamer in the house. Sunshine. Stop by Sunshine. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, that's better. Yeah. You're allowed to go. It's fine. She's awesome and very talented and amazing. And tells me which pencils to buy, even though I barely use my pencils. Yeah.
I feel like that's a classic artist thing as well. Having a bunch of stuff from maybe a medium you don't normally use, but you just have a lot of it.
Also, side effect of working in an art shop. It goes on sale. It goes cheap. And, well, granted, the art shop doesn't really do sales, but like other art shops I work for did do sales.
Yeah.
And bought all things. But
They're selling a collection of pen pastels.
yeah,
Ah.
I love pen pastels.
I want to like I want to love it.
I have brought black and white to use tomorrow during the art battle, so I might whip them out during the art battle. If you've got questions about pen pastels, we can chat. Pen pastels is pastel in a cake, and it looks like you're drawing with makeup. If anyone doesn't know pen pastels, they're very fun. Very, very
It gets
fun.
so messy using those.
It is, but
All over my
as long
hands.
as you commit to the mess, you're
face.
fine. You
Yeah.
just go, look, I'll wear gloves, I'll have paper towel, I'll have baby wipes handy, it's fine.
I commit to the mess and I look in the mirror and I've got like marks over my face. I'm like, okay, I guess this is the look now.
As long as you don't go out for, a big fancy public speaking event
True.
mid-drawing then.
Yeah,
And if that's your
20
fun.
minutes.
That's 20 minutes. Let's have another jiggle break! Woo! Jiggle break.
cool.
Thank you. How are we doing for total time? Awesome. 11:51, so we should have time for another 20 minutes. Yay, Dylan's great. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. Oh, can I do another run down the end of the room? How's it look from the end of the room? I definitely need to not forget these down. Yeah. Remind me in the last bit, I need to do the stuff.
I'll try and remind you. This memory ain't so
I'll
good.
focus on face for the next one, I think. And this is another good drawing, is to pick a job for each sit. So my first job was to block in. My second job was to get all my forms solid, so not with full of holes. So we filled in the hair and we filled in the cowl and the arms and stuff. And now my next one will be face. I'll just focus on face for the next sit. And then my last sit, I'll just do detail. Thank you. I'm having lots of fun. Yeah. So the next one, if I'm focusing on face, I might need you to really focus on your spot and not turn your head to
that's
talk to me.
fine.
But
That's
yeah,
fine.
a little bit more antisocial time.
I mean, this has been going on. I know we've been getting more details and trying to get
Yeah.
more over this way. I think
It's
also
like,
there's
I like how the chat flow. Chat flow's working great.
but I think also like
Thanks to you.
the nervous system. Sometimes just being able to make is good.
Stretch.
Hydrate.
How are my stream friends? Hello, friends.
Hydrate.
Hydrate? Okay.
Yes.
Who used the hydrate react that's not there?
Me.
You would.
Good job.
You would.
I would.
I got the picture.
Oh dear. I wasn't really happy how this wig styling went. I've never done wig styling before. I have styled 2 wigs for this one alone. This hair is way too long for this actual hairstyle. Well, that's why I had to wrap around the bun bit a few times with the hair. It gave a real big zip to it, yeah. Because that's when I first did that last year. But yeah, that was my first cosplay. That was my first cosplay that one. to do a video and I posted in front of it outside the convention center. But that one, my hair was longer. Naturally red hair.
Yeah.
Not natural. My
Double
hair.
gagger.
I used my hair for that. But I can't nowadays because I had chopped my hair off and it's still growing, so it's probably been to here and it's black
Well, I
underneath.
have the useless for anything except for so
And mine's black underneath, so it means that.
like
Yeah.
Well, I've got like a full black under there. Nice hat.
Yes.
every time I turn around,
You're gonna see a different one. It means it's literally like the Twitch stream in real life.
do you want to come up and wave for the stream? So
No.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you
do.
Yeah, you do. Says no, then stands up.
Model replacement.
G Funk brought 0 viewers.
Hello, my darling.
I'm G.
Oh, nice to meet you, G-Funk.
I'll give you big hugs later.
So good.
How many did you bring?
5.
Just 5. Wow.
that seems
That's less than usual.
yeah, unnaturally reasonable.
I did bring like I need a backpack.
That's fair.
What happens if you purchase new ones as you walk around?
They have to be crushable, so if we go more in or I
Which is that sourcing something.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so yes, we can fit in 2 15-minute poses when we restart, so we'll do that to get nice even time.
Yeah, but I can't do my hair with that one anymore, so I think I spent like 20 hours on my Malon wig because I've never started a wig before, and I had to give like the big fringe bits. It's a lot of teasing, crimping, teasing, brushing, styling, holding, spraying, everything. I'm really excited to wear it. I hope it looks good. I'm very excited to wear it. I'm going to be wearing it on Sunday. But then, yeah, I had this. I am either going no cosplay tomorrow because I've got a gig on tomorrow night, which I'm singing as Rachel from Blade Runner. Fun. So I started that wig last night. So we'll see. It's either going to be Tris Marigold tomorrow or casual. And then on Sunday it's going to be Malon. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good. Dropped a bit of towel.
All right, you ready to get back in?
Let's do it.
Yay! All right, another 15 minutes.
Shake this a little bit this way.
Yeah.
Cute.
Another good thing with oil paints is you can always go in with a dry brush, and it's similar to the paper towel in that you can go in and sort of scrape things away. So that's why you'll notice I sit here and sort of pull the paper towel every 5 minutes. So rather than use solvent to wash my brush as I paint, or even water, because with these paints I could use water to wash my brush, I just dry clean it. And I find I get a lot more control over how wet my brush is and how wet my paint is by doing that, which is really cool. All right, let's focus on face. So with facial features, again, I try and start really general and then gradually get more detailing. So I want all my shadows in first. There's some really nice reds and things in the shadows as I go. And I just want to find all those little changes. I definitely think your eyes a lot bigger than I had, so let's change that. Let's change that. This is the only thing I wish I could do in normal streaming. It's a lot more like painting people physically, but my studio is tiny and I could not fit. We'll figure that out in a future life.
Yeah, I mean, if you had someone streaming like a collab or something like that, and they had, you know, right lighting, camera quality set up, it'd be tricky.
It's tricky. I did a little bit of live drawing classes online during COVID, and yeah, there's not.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. And when
Yeah.
you're used to it in person, it's just like,
Oh yeah.
like eating off like black and gold brand peanut butter after eating craft or something. I don't know. It's a watered down version of the original.
Yeah.
I noticed I made your face very, very pale, so I'm just gonna get some more stuff in there. But
I mean,
is
I'll be
very,
honest,
very pale.
she is, and
Yeah.
so am I. I don't really go in the sun.
That's fair. That's fine. It's sun hates us.
Yeah, sun doesn't like me. I don't like the sun.
I think the thing with paint is one of those things. If you want to have some color, start hard because it's very easy to calm down colour. It's much
Yeah.
harder to put the colour back in later. So that's what I'm sort of trying to do right now is sort of put those colours in, and then I can always calm them down a little bit. Just finding you've got some nice reflections from the screen behind you of like colours and things in the shadows. So I'll find all that. And then there's some yellow and gold coming up your neck from the necklace.
I was gonna say, it's like, is that my actual neck? And then you're like, the necklace. I'm like,
Yeah, it's like a reflection. Because yeah, you'll find most coloured things, especially if you hit with a nice bright light, they will shoot some colour from them onto the skin. The skin is so receptive to colour being semi-translucent. So even if someone's dressed in black, they can still have colour rebounding around. So you can never sort of assume a shadow is grey or a shadow is black. You really need to look and see.
yeah, I find the color, like kind of color theory and the way colors work and move, especially like from an artist's perspective, very intriguing.
Yeah.
Because I like to draw and things like that. It's more of a hobby style stuff because I did art during high school and I loved it. But pretty much my main medium that I found I liked was charcoal and using grey lead pencils, and I basically just work in greys. And I'm very opposite to yourself in I can't use a medium where I can undo things because I will hyperfixate on undoing. I struggle whenever I use my digital art. Like I do that for like
the undo button. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, because I do a lot of pixel art on my iPad because I find that to be something that I'm less focused on being like it has to be so aggressively perfect because it's more
Makes it
simplistic.
perfect for you because it's already
That little,
squares.
like that little guy.
Oh, is that yours?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, he's called an Enfield.
He's an Enfield.
What is an Enfield? I
Ah,
didn't read it when I was
No, that's
screenshotting because it was too late.
that's fair. So Enfield. So my full handle name is Sapphire Enfield, and so Enfields are a creature of Celtic mythology. They quite often depicted as just a fox with wings, but traditionally, because they're a type of chimera, so they actually have a bunch of different features of different animals. So I think a lot of original depictions are wings of an eagle. I think it's head of a fox, body of a greyhound, like claws of a lion. So it's a bunch of different features. And what they were is they were kind of protectors of fallen warriors. So if someone fell in battle, an Enfield would protect them to make sure that their body was able to then be recovered, or they were able to pass away peacefully and not have that disrupted by maybe an enemy. They were able to go gently, that sort of thing. And chiefs, or leaders of different groups, it would be like kind of a protector for them to see if the rest of their people can get their body and give them a proper burial, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a protector of the fallen. And I have a massive love for Celtic mythology and folklore and things like that. Because my real name is Celtic, and so I've always just really loved it. And when I was trying to figure out a last name because in a lot of burlesque performers, they always have a last name. And my online handle has been Sapphire for a really long time. And so I was like, I'll add a last name to it and marry the two up instead of having two separate names. And I was trying to think of something, and I was like, what could I do? And I was going through a bunch of old books of mine, and I saw the Enfield, and I was like, that I feel like could be really fun because I really like foxes. My hair underneath this wig is red. I'm kind of known for being, redhead chick. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I really like that. And I liked the idea that being a chimera, they're taken all these amazing parts of different animals to put together to make this unique creature. And I thought, I want all of my creativity. I never want to feel like I've put myself in a pigeonhole of this is what I'm doing and this is what I have to do and continue. And if I deviate, I'm no longer sticking to my brand that I've made. I wanted my brand to be whatever I want it to be because I'm indecisive.
Your brand definitely comes across as you're a multi-talented queen. Because you do so many different things.
Yeah, too many hobbies sometimes. That's the ADHD. It was like, what can I do now? But I always wanted to be able to do a little bit of everything if I feel like doing it. Being a musical theatre kid, and I studied music theatre, so I like that now, especially with a lot of work that I do. I get to take the things that I enjoyed of that, but instead of having a director or a choreographer pick something for me or somebody else say, this is what I want you to do, you have to change it this way. I get to be the decider on how I create my own art. I get to pick whatever character I want to do. I get to be the makeup artist and the hairdresser and the costume designer and execute it how I would like to. And maybe it's not to the high, like the quality that I would want it to get to, but it's still my own and I can build it up to that point. So that's why I wanted that name to be, which is kind of a really wanky long way of saying I just like the animal, but it's, you know, it's.
It works for you, and again,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a tattoo having a meaning. Like you needed
I was
to have
literally about to
something.
say that. Yeah, it's like your
Yeah.
first tattoo. I feel like everyone wants your first tattoo to have really heartfelt meaning, and then after a while, you end up getting silly things sometimes. Not everyone, but that's a way some people go. But yeah, having that meaning to start with is, I think, pretty cool. And yeah, that's why I picked Enfield, which I
There you
love.
go. I know we've got the
Yeah.
fox guy in there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like my little icon and stuff for my streams. And like I've done, I think there was a special stream I think I did once ages ago where I have these really nice little fox ears and I did like an Enfield like look. And one day when I have built myself up to enter into one of the biggest Australian burlesque competitions, eventually I want to be one of those people that if I'm going in, I'm going full throttle. So there's a bunch of different, well, I want to have it as my runway. So yeah, you usually have like your classic, your unique act, and then you have a runway. And I'm like, I want to do like a sapphire color outfit because sapphire kind of goes hand in hand. And then I want to have like, if I can, somewhere get wings and have all these beautiful things and have the ears and everything like that. And I want to have a boa that has like the look of a tail to it. So yeah, big ideas. Eventually, one day. So, oh yeah. So big plans, but that's kind of the fun thing that I'm thinking.
So I don't focus on face, and I keep getting distracted by fabric, which is really fun to paint because you can't really paint fabric terribly wrong if you've got shadows and highlights. So I need to force myself to focus. But I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you.
I am too.
Yeah.
That's great.
How's everyone feeling? We're having a good draw?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad.
Well,
If I
thank you.
could have a little oil painting, I would, but I don't think the Melbourne Convention Centre would like that very much. Yeah.
They come back and the walls are painted and they're like, what happened?
Yeah. That's been wonderful. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions at the moment? Clicking away. What we're doing.
How did you feel about getting into live streaming art? Like,
Well, subconscious. Probably.
there's
I
a lot
think.
of anxiety involved in live streaming the process, right?
Yeah, but I think because when I started live streaming, I was dibble-dabbling with the idea of teaching, which I did end up going on to do a little bit of teaching at my local art society before I realised I'm not there yet. I'm not. I think I need to learn more about how to teach before I teach because I'm not a trained teacher, and I know and respect so many trained teachers. I think that's something that I would like to do further down the track. But being able to talk about my process, first of all, the other people who watch my streams when I started were my friends, so that helps because then it's just like you chatting to your friends. But it's really good practice to have a good think about the why of what you do, because especially as artists, a lot of the time we let our hands do the thing and our brain is working, but articulating how your brain is working is a whole separate thing. And for me, getting on camera, I did always have my face on camera. I know a lot of artists don't, and that's a very approachable way to start streaming is don't worry about having a face camera, just show your hands. I always showed my face because I talk with my hands, and I feel like if people see my face, then they know why I'm not talking or they know what I'm doing. And it's just one of those things I really like watching streamers where I can see if they're emotive. And I'm very emotive as a person in general. So trying to create a stream environment that, albeit was very novice when I started, of course, that's something that I could feel as though this is the sort of cozy environment that I like to watch when I watch streamers, which I love watching streamers. That gave me the confidence that, okay, at least I've set up a space that is possibly comfy for some people who are a bit like me. And that is something. And that made me feel less nervous because I'm like, if I enjoy things when they're done this way, then I feel less self-conscious that no one will like what I'm doing, or that no one will watch, or no one will listen. And even then, I was going to be painting anyway. So the idea of streaming was in part, I want people to watch and hang out with me and help me stay on task and share my process and chat. But also in part, I wanted the historical record of the videos of this is what I painted then. This is what I was talking about when I was painting this. And that's also why I started on YouTube. I started my YouTube channel to have that sort of historical record of my paintings and how they've come about. And the thing I really like about YouTube is that the older videos, if anything, they get pushed more than the newer videos. So you always have this sort of new people finding things. And one of my most popular video on my channel is the one talking about what are mixable oils for the first time. Because so many people haven't used them, and obviously they search and go, what are these about? And then they find my video and they're like, cool, I'm happy to talk about that. So yeah, I enjoy playing with stuff, and if I can help other people when they want to play with stuff, all the better. I'm definitely not a gatekeeper of art knowledge. I'm a tell everyone all the things because that's the only way you learn half the time. Because that's how I learned.
Speaking of oils,
Yes.
now the only oil paints I've really done is literally when I paint my house.
Yeah.
And I know
Different kind of oil paints, not so.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Because disposing of those, like you can't wash them down the sink and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is this a different oil that you can wash down the sink, or
Well,
do you dispose differently?
You got here late. So these are water mixable oils by Cobra, and these are a traditional oil paint in that they are made of pigment and oil, but they have added an emulsifier into the paint that breaks down in water. So these ones, I still wouldn't recommend washing a whole bunch of paint down the sink. What I do is I bundle it all up onto paper towels, and then I put that in the bin. If it's particularly oily, if I've used a lot of medium, it's always a good idea to lay those sheets out in your studio overnight so they can de-gas any of the oil, because oil dries by oxidization. It needs oxygen to take on to dry. It doesn't dry by evaporation like water mediums do. So as long as you let them gas off, then they're nice and safe. And when I say nice and safe, Lucian Freud, one of the big artists, he used to have this beautiful pile of rags in his studio. And being a giant pile of rags, he would chuck full saturated rags on the bottom and then keep going. And because they couldn't get any oxygen, they would start a fire. Sometimes. Very rarely, but it does happen, and he burned his studio twice. So, you know.
Twice.
Because he didn't let it last. And he was like, no, this is how I like to do things. So I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, so in terms of oil painting safety, let any severely saturated oil, and like I wouldn't call these severely saturated. These have light blobs of paint. They're not dripping with oil. So that's 15. All right, last break before the last session. Oh, I am getting into the face. I promise.
You got this.
I'm getting there. I got nose, and now I just need to get all the new stuff. So I might keep twiddling while we have a break. But have a good jiggle. I'll have some more. This goes so quickly. Actually, DW, could you take a photo from the back end?
Yeah.
Thank you. If anyone can't stay till the end, I understand you've got other panels and stuff. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for coming and joining in.
Thank you for putting this on and having us.
Thank you for being here. It's fun. All the thank yous for thank you everyone who's come on live stream. We love you. Love you too. All right, I'm going to run to the end of the room again. Wow.
Oh wow, it's too close.
Oh my god, it's me.
And the room.
Yeah, look at the room.
Which one's the real one?
I'm seeing double.
Ah! I'm so stuck.
You good? Oh no, the lanyard got stuck.
Yeah, can't forget to put the gold in your necklace too. So I might do that now while you have your break.
Yeah, this necklace was also one of those fun, happy, cool kitty kind of things. Like 3D printer, and I was like, oh hey,
Oh, hey.
because I was originally going to make this necklace out of like foam clay, and I was like, oh, it's going to be so tedious because I would know that I'm going to end up having to just keep adjusting it, make it better, and keep trying to fix it a little bit too long.
I finished about 15 minutes earlier. Like,
Yeah. And so then when you get the thing, because he takes a lot of minis, like D is a DX, D&D minis, and I was just like, hey,
Amy, now it
can
is.
you print this? And I got a file for free online, and I was like, I know, right? It's like, do this one for me. It's like, all right, done. Yeah, and the file included, so there's two versions of this necklace. There's this version, and then there is the ball gown one, which is the other one that you saw, which has a slightly different pieces to it. Some pieces are the same, but it is a different construction, except it's in Scott. But it's got both of the details for both cats and necklaces. Oh, so I haven't did the ball gown version. I've got that ready to go.
I think I'm still doing the school.
I don't know if I could see that. Yeah. Right, the swivel's good, but it doesn't feel like a really.
That's
No, that's what I was going to say. It's not one of those you sit down and you go, "Huh," and it slips out.
Where's your staff?
It's got like a nice bit of tension to it. Yeah, it's meant to be like almost like. I kind of describe it as like an oxidized copper. Yeah. But yeah, it's just greenish color that's just meant to be. I think it's meant to be jewel. So I did the green and I kept it with
We're ready for our last session. All right, so now do all the bits you've been scared to do. If you have been avoiding a bit, now is the time. If you've been avoiding hands, if you've been avoiding faces, me. Actually, I haven't got a hand or a face. Shit. Sorry. Yeah.
Change it up.
All right. So
I avoid hands.
That's to be quite still for this last one. Yeah. What else is everyone excited to see here at PAX?
Cupcakes.
Yeah?
Art battle tomorrow.
Yay! Wait, is it art battle or the other art battle?
It's the one that you're doing.
Come to ours first, the other one's at 2:30. There's another art battle at the Cooperbar Theatre. I have no idea who's running it, but I want to go watch so that way I can learn more about art battles from other artists.
We have a question in chat.
Yes, sure. Of course, Jack.
Maze says, how long has Liz been painting so far? I never know if oil painting takes years to complete the work or 30 minutes.
We started ish. This has been pretty quick, which is good. In terms of oil painting in general, yeah, I've been off and on since high school, which is I've been here 20 years. Gross, 15 years maybe. I don't
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that now. But it's one of those oil painting. You can do fast styles and you can do slow styles. Some of the ones I've had up on the screen have been 30-hour paintings, 40-hour paintings, and then other ones have been 5-hour paintings. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to accomplish in what way and how big. The fun thing about today is I get to paint really big and really fast, which I never get to do.
Is that your favorite way to do it?
It's just very cathartic
Yeah.
because I get to be very slapdash and not like considered. I don't have to slow down and really take my time and focus. I just get to go for it with adrenaline. And I can see why some people like being event painters who get to just come in and splash around and go the whole time. My favorite TV show, one of them is of the Year, where I was to paint a celebrity, and then they have like amazing prizes and stuff. And I'm like, I want to be on that show so bad. Because 4 hours to bounce around and do a popular face, even if you film, don't care. I'll put the the headphones on and play something very high energy. And which thank you again for providing the music. It's been wonderful just to have a little something. My normal life drawing mix in my headphones is very, very fast, heavy, hard, mean, silly music because enough. And even if I'm being considered, if I slow down too much, I get sleepy and dozy and I'm not really present with what I'm doing. Granted, at the end of a painting session like that, I am wrecked because if you live on adrenaline for 4 hours and then stop suddenly, it's like, oh boy, I'm actually feeling pretty good right now. I'm like, I've been paid for another 3 hours. Yeah. No one else is using this theatre, right? We can just keep going.
It's the hyper focus and then the hyper focus hangover.
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
seedy feeling afterwards when you're like, and I stayed up to 3 a.m. again. That's Sunday.
This is the first con I've not done that for.
Really? Well done. Well done with your con crunch.
No, I con crunched a lot, but I was actually more prepped for this one than I have been ever before.
I think it helps that you didn't make more for this.
Yeah.
But again, you've added so much to her and
Yeah.
done a lot more.
I wanted to upgrade. Like the wig, I had basic style, but I wanted to fully do the wig for this one. And
Yeah.
I think when I first wore the, thank you. When I first wore it, I had a couple like wear and tear, holes in the gloves, that sort of things. Like, oh, little mending, little touch ups here and there. But it wasn't me going, I've got to finish making this.
I'm going to be nude tomorrow. If I don't.
Yeah. When I made this originally, which I think I debuted it at Comic, I did stay up to, I think it was 4 or 5 in the morning for the next day. I was very awake the next day, which is just that
What
incredible.
got me the most was The Lion King. I'm pointing to the deviants in the back row where we did an almost all-nighter. I was the face painter for the Lion King characters. They looked fabulous though. They looked amazing. Fingers at all. I was pointing paper.
Nothing quite like a post-con sleep.
Oh, although I don't know if the 2-year-old is going to let me do it.
That's true.
Sleep.
That's true. That's true.
We're going to tea party. Painting
That still
session.
sounds nice though.
Castle. Maybe read.
Gotta go.
It might be. I reckon. Although a little part of me is still like, maybe I should bring out a pack so we can just have a nice, relaxing pack day. No, I think we should just have a
Relaxing packs. I don't know what that's like, but I'm like, let's do everything. I always book stuff afterwards as well.
I'm at a point now where I feel like the face is generally there. I've got an idea of, it's not 100% likeness, but I'm like, we're close. You want to look at the real little details. So things like making sure that the darks in the dark enough. Point of the lip where that shadow hits, and now I've got to do the bit I've been avoiding, hard commit to the eye features. Because the second I hard commit, if I have to rub it out, I'm rubbing out the whole eye at once. So this is my risk. But at the same time, I feel like I've got so much structure around this area that I know where I'm going. So if there's a part you're scared of, do everything close to it and around it, and it will all support it. So it's sort of like I'm going from a big area slowly, smaller and smaller and smaller, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I have done the eye. Yay. So that can be quite handy.
What's the golf club for?
Oh yeah, I haven't used that yet. It's for leaning. This is a mile stick.
That's
So
genius.
if you don't want to put your hand in wet paint, you have a stick. I recommend one with a hook on the end. Traditionally, they look more like this with a ball at the end, but then you have to a piece of fabric. So no, use a hook, and then I can lean. And that's exactly the time I needed to use it. So
MacGyver of artists.
because I forgot it's here.
I didn't want to ask if it was like a walking cane. I didn't want to.
I do definitely use it as a pimp stick, walking cane, when I'm walking to and from art classes. Hell yeah. Because it is honestly the easiest way to carry it. Because if you try and just carry it as an object, you end up hitting people. So yeah, it's very, very, I've got this from Savers for $2.99. And then I've covered it in a few layers of bandages and other things, just so it's nice and soft on my board. It wasn't gonna, because it was metal, it was a metal putter. I didn't want to dent the top of the boards or anything like that. Yeah, so highly recommend the mild stick when you're working detail on especially large surfaces and you don't want to lean on the board. I normally only take it to life drawing if it's a multi-week pose because I normally don't get to the point where I need it. But today we're working. I'm really proud of us. Look how much we've been doing today. We're getting a lot done today. And close to finish time. What's our time? Okay.
About 6 minutes left.
6 minutes left.
Got this.
Final details, final details.
You still want to go staffing?
Let's do it real slap dashing once I'm done with the eye. I will tell you when I'm done with the eye and then we will go.
It's not the main point of focus. You don't have to do much
It is
detail.
not the main point of focus.
I learned that from you.
At the moment, you've only got half an hour, so we're
That's
just
fair.
going to try and bash in the rest of the arm a little bit. And that's what, because I was avoiding full dark with the eyes, I'm just gradually adding more and more dark until it looks.
I liked, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to only have giant black. Kind of cute. Your eyelashes are actually making shadows down the cheek.
That's so exciting. I've got very short eyelashes. That's
And you're right. Oh, it looks like falsies with the shadow. Well done.
just.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, I've got really short lashes, so that's why I wear a lot of half lashes or like 3/4 ones. Like, or when I do performances, I wear big.
Well, I feel like in burlesque and that, like even if you have amazing lashes,
You still put them on.
Yeah.
I've done
Like
acts.
drag.
Yeah. I've done acts where I've done more drag style makeup and I've had like 3 sets of lashes on, and by the end of the day, I'm like blinking hurts. I'm like, it hurts. Oh, so bad.
So build those muscles.
It you're lifting like you're like my head feels lighter, my whole head. It's like when you just bands.
That's what I feel like. I wish I could cut my hair just for a day, just for one day. Hair and then because I like long hair on me, but just like in the height of summer, when it's really heavy.
Oh yeah,
I would cut it off.
yeah, because you look like you got thick hair.
Thick, lots of it. Very okay with me being
Yep.
all the time. Free.
Yeah. My hair's the same. When I chopped it off, it was about this long, and then I chopped it to here. End of last year.
All right, last minute highlights, everyone. Last minute bits.
Something jarring about the air on the back of your neck after having. Oh yeah, feeling the hairbrush.
I would feel naked, I think.
It does feel a bit naked, especially not being able to tie up my hair. That was weird.
So I'm just trying to find those last minute bits that are more bright, and I'm just going to pick out the edges of this fabric, give that a bit more zhuzh. Would anyone mind if I get Saf to move those stick for a sec? Please move those stuff, sorry. I just want to quickly dash it in a little bit.
You see that right there?
Yeah. Big shape, big shape, big shape. This is where you can really get into the texture of the board that I did before in the acrylics. Yup. Need a big brush. That's all I have before. That one. This is when I talk to my facing a lot because I'm just like, action noises! What am I missing? Your arm. You don't need none. Okay, you didn't get the stick in there, that's good. Yep. A little bit of gold bit here, gold bracelet. And if you can just put your hand about here in the fist, that'd be great. Sorry, Becky. If I don't give you any kind of hand, it's a little bit strange.
Probably helps that this one is mainly covered by a glove. Nasty.
Yeah, that looks like details. What else can we do? Let's do some more shadows in the scarf just to give it real guts. And again, I'm actually not pushing very much. I'm just placing like almost like cake icing right now because all my paints are there. I don't want to move anything that's there. I just want to lay in some bits over the top. So I'm just going to really lightly smoosh. I'm so sorry, Kiki. I keep using words that aren't words. Smoosh is good. Smoosh. What's the sign for smoosh? I'm learning. Best thing about having a 2-year-old, you get to watch Miss Money and learn how to say, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And yeah, all the fun words. So I'm learning very, very baby puzzle words. Yeah. So, all right, how's it going doing for tonight?
About a minute.
A minute? Thank you everyone so much for coming. I'm actually going to stop early. Yay! Unheard of.
I'm wild.
I know, right? Oh wait, I should sign it. That'll be my Oh my god, okay. Let's just get I actually normally sign on the back, but I'm going to sign on the front for this.
Ooh, nice color scheme.
And then I'll write featuring Sapphire later. Other than that. Yay! Can I just say this is so lovely to share what I do with people in a really active, big way, and just because Artist Week we sit on our own in our little rooms and hermited up in our nests, and that's lovely. But also sharing with others is just so invigorating, and I'm all tingly, and that's great. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me online on Instagram or Twitch or YouTube or any of the places. I love talking about art, craft, geek, everything. And I really enjoyed today. So thank you all so much. Absolutely. Please tag me, #ZapphireField, or tag Sapphire if you want to, and #PAX together. That would be amazing, or PAX AUS. And hopefully, we can keep having fun and art. And if anyone's free at 12:30 tomorrow, art battle in here. Me, 5 other artists going head-to-head sabotage fun times. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you found a business card, my cards are around, and again, all the supplies were supplied by theartshop.com.au if you need art supplies. Thank you.
I'll get in front of you with you
Oh,
and
yes,
the
of
paint.
course. That would be great.
You're both standing
Actually,
next to
can you
the.
get one of both of us first, and then
Yeah.
we'll do the painting with the other ones.
Liz.
Yes.
Close the stream.
Yes. I'll do that next.
Ah.
Thank you. Hello, live stream friends. We're going to head off now because other people want to have panels, but thank you so much for coming, and I'm so glad I was able to share this with you since you won't be able to be in the room physically. I want to say the hugest thank you to Imo and Death Wombat for setting up the stream and being all around amazing people. So please give them some love.